dude, this new EP sounds so fucking sick. I'm so happy that you sent this over. Like, this is such fun to listen to.
Nah, man, I appreciate you making time. Especially when I first started, I hit up, the small podcast that I thought might give me the light of day, give me some time. And nah, man, I appreciate your time and having me on. And yeah, I appreciate the kind words about the music because that just fills our souls. So
Right.
thanks, man. I appreciate you very much.
All right. Well, other than that, what I'll do is I usually crack a drink for the intro. If you've already cracked your beer, that's totally fine. But if you have not, would you want to do the crack with me?
Yeah, because actually this one overflowed. So here, give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Very basic, man. Very, very basic.
Dude, that's okay. Normally, all I do is PBRs, so I mixed it up a little bit for this episode, but
No,
that's
I
fine.
feel better you whipping out a PBR. I didn't know if you were gonna whip out like a micro brew or something like that.
It's very rare if that ever happens. I think I maybe done it like once or twice on an episode, and it was more because like I think someone came over and their like dad owns a brewery, so he just like left me a growler,
Right.
and I was like, fuck it, I gotta drink it at some point. Might as well do it during these.
Yeah, like I feel bad because I feel like I should be helping out a small, you know what I mean, like a small brewer, like a local. But I'll be honest with you, I drink socially more or
Hmm.
less. I don't really drink too much. I I smoke a bit, pretty boring otherwise. But yeah, man, I'm ready for the crack.
All right. Well, in three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, just my typical fashion, I got another sick ass Philly band on the podcast. I'm sitting down with Justin from Cheer Up Dusty. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Dude, thanks for being down to be on and wanting to be on the show. I mean, you got some killer things going on. Like I mentioned, you're from the band Cheer Up Dusty, which is like a I think in all your socials you guys just put like a rock band from Philly, and I mean it everything that I'm listening to lives up to that moniker. But before we get too far, obviously, like I've said, your name's Justin. But what do you do in Cheer Up Dusty?
So I'm the singer of Cheer Up Dusty. I'm one of five.
There's five now.
There's five of us, yeah, and on the live show, yeah, there's five.
Okay. Uh, well, for the fellows that are not with us tonight, who are they and what do they do in Cheer Up Dusty?
um, my name is Justin. I sing. We have a guitarist named Brian. We have another guitarist named Nick. We have a drummer named Caleb, and we don't have a full time bassist. Our old bassist Pat. He's kind of he plays our local shows with us and whatnot. But whenever we venture out, we've been doing fill-ins and backtracking
Hmm.
bass for right now. We're a little busy, but eventually we will be getting a full-time bassist. But there's just so much going on right now. It's just it's just too difficult to like bring in another body at the moment. But
Right.
soon.
Is that because I'm trying to think? I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself too, but in the Legacy video, there was only four of you in that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but and then you see there's two guitar, like there's no bassist in it. So
I honestly didn't even realize that there was no bass in the music video. Like I was so just like in the moment with watching it that I guess I didn't even realize that.
yeah, I feel like in that video, our drummer Caleb, I think he does some stick flips, and I felt like he looked the most organic and cool. So you maybe go to him before anybody else. So that's cool.
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, I got a little ahead of myself, but we have some fun stuff to talk about. For people that aren't aware, you guys have been doing music for quite a while. I know the last EP number 2, which was a collection of singles, came out in like the 2021. So we're getting closer to EP number 3, which by the time this episode comes out, it'll already be out. But I kind of want to start at the singles that have just slowly been coming, rolling out. I know you have the third one coming out this upcoming Friday, but obviously, I mean, you started with Legacy as the first single, and it's such a good intro to this EP. Like it hits so well, and I mean, like I went back and listened to like at least the collection of singles to kind of get this full feel as to like the transition between EPs, and I feel like I couldn't pinpoint the right words, but I definitely can see this this change and evolution into Europe Dusty, and I feel like it's a great song to lead off for your initial singles. What's the response been on Legacy so far? I mean, it's been out at this point of recording about almost like 3 or 4 weeks. I think it came out on the 5th of May.
So yeah, we do put up that we are, a rock band at this point. Just so I started the band, as a solo thing. I just wanted to put something out there, and it started as a pop punk band, like 100%. And then even into EP2, it's a pop punk. We did a ska song just because we wanted to, and still kind of finding, who we were a little bit. But then, yeah, I wanted to mature a little bit. So, yeah, together, we've been, we wrote our third EP, and yeah, actually, it was all done last August. That's when we recorded it. So we've been sitting on it for a while, and now we're just in our release cycle. And I mean, it's been going good. We decided collectively the order we want to drop them and when, and it was really a group effort. And Legacy, while it wasn't my favorite, it was like unanimous that this was like the first one. Um, that one was like the least done in the studio, and then we completed it like in the studio. So, and it came out to be one of the stronger tracks. So it's and then yeah, we were very proud of it. And then we got to film a video for it in Philly at Bob's Diner in Manayunk, Conshohocken part of Philly, on Ridge Avenue. So we were really happy to been able to have access to that to film. So the response has been good, man. It's I've gotten a lot of kind things to say about it, and everyone goes back to the oh, it's a little more mature than your other stuff. It's kind of getting and that's I mean, that's what we're trying to do, trying to grow up a little bit and broaden the audience, and we're trying to reach it a little higher. So yeah, it's been good, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's been a great song to listen to, and I really loved the music video. You guys all playing in the diner. Obviously, we all know. I think it just hit like 10 years old the other day, but everyone knows the classic "What the fuck is up, Denny's?" And I just really hope that you, at least some point that night, said "What the fuck is up, Bob's Diner."
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a classic. Yeah, I mean the diner, it's like a breakfast lunch diner, so it closed at 2, and it was like a really it was it was a little like dreary, like cloudy day, and it was a Sunday in February, and they closed at 2, cleaned up a little, and then we had like 3 to like 6, 7 o'clock to do what we needed to do, and yeah, man, it was great. It was a great day. Everyone was in like good spirits at the end of the day, and I just thought like, damn, after like all that and having to like lift all the equipment just to shoot some shots to do, everyone was in a good mood. So yeah, it was a good one.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, yeah, like I said, it came out sick, and it's awesome that they allowed you to come in and do that. Thankfully, it worked out where it's they didn't have to like close down for the day or do anything like that.
No,
It's just it worked out with their hours. So
yeah, no business was lost, and I might have a family connection somehow to get in there, but you know, that's what you got to do. You got to ask the favors. But we're very appreciative. So anyone who is listening to this in that area or in Philly for the first time, please look up Bob's Diner. Absolutely delicious, and they're very good people over there.
now, one kind of recurring theme on this podcast, besides beer, obviously, is always talking about like good foods and different spots. If people are going to Philly and they stop in Bob's Diner, what's like the one or two things off the menu that you recommend they get?
I'm the worst to ask because, like I said, I'm just such a basic person. I was telling you that before we like really hopped on. I mean, dude, I if you're asking me, I'm the only one on the
Yeah.
podcast. Obviously everyone's my especially my band answer will be different, but dude, I'm like one of those. I love a classic breakfast. I don't need it enough. So if you just go in, you ask for eggs, your toast of choice, your meat of choice. I mean, you're gonna get a good one. It's not gonna, I'm not knocking on IHOP or Denny's or any of those businesses, but you're gonna get some quality food made with some love, dude, straight up. So,
Hell yeah.
and then yeah, if you do go there, you know, uh, tell them Cheer Up Dusty sent you.
No, that's awesome. Like I'm also kind of like you, where if I go into like a diner or something, like I probably pick like the simplest thing that I could easily get at 10 other places that'll be like either quicker, sometimes cheaper. But it's like the whole experience about like being at a diner, because you don't see diners really that much anymore. So to be able to go in and you hear that sizzle on the blacktop that's back there, it everything tastes so much better in a diner than compared to like go like we're saying, like go to IHOP or like Denny's. It has that
Right.
slightly different taste where it just sets it off, and you can get the most basic things and it's still gonna hit so well.
So yeah, dude, like when you go in, the owner Jim, he works and cooks. Like the owner, he's a great man. So you'll walk in and you'll see him just in the corner, and it's visible. It's not like he's behind, doing it behind like any behind the doors or anything. He's
Mm-hmm.
there. He's making the meat, grilling the, doing, the hash brown. Like he's doing it all. And then it's and I'll spill the beans. My aunt Trisha has worked there for about 40 plus years, and she's just like the kindest woman. So when you go in, she'll greet you, sit you down. You're gonna be taken care of at Bob's Diner. This is turning into a big Bob's Diner commercial, but it's you're right. Like just on the topic of diners, the diner I grew up near. I grew up right over the bridge in South Jersey, in Cherry Hill. That's where I like went to school and everything. And Cherry Hill Diner, right on Route 70, going toward the Ben Franklin Bridge, was there my whole life and just closed down recently. And you're right, it's sad. I love the diner. I love, I grew, in this Northeast America. It's just diners were everything,
Right.
So, yeah, please support if you can. Go have a good meal. Keep a diner going. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Well, I'll be sure to add it to my list. Because I've sat down with so many like Philly bands at this point that I just need to make like a trip to Philly and like meet everyone, and then just like hit all these good food spots at the same time. So I'll be sure to add that to my list as to like somewhere I need to go when I get there.
Hell yeah, dude! If you make it out here, man, you got friends, or if you need a couch, I got you. So yeah, dude, you get out here, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, be careful. I might take you up on that. We'll
Oh, dude,
see.
I mean, that's like one of my favorite part. I'll tell Ben, I've had a few random, I can't even name them off the top of my head. Come in here, just take a quick shower and go, or
Mm,
like that's what it's all about, dude. So hell yeah, dude. If you get out here, you got it.
fuck yeah, dude. Um, well, kind of jumping back into singles, I think it was on the 19th, so we're like a week and a half or so past. You released the second single from this upcoming EP called Murphy's Song, which is kind of, obviously everyone knows Murphy's Law. Kind of fits a little bit into the theme of the song, but I know you, and I think in one of the Instagram posts you kind of mentioned that the song kind of changed up as to what it initially was going to be to how it fully came out, because the story's kind of just more, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, but it's the storyline in the song is like you're basically couch surfing, you're not living at home. I think one line is like everywhere closes at 9, like what the fuck am I gonna do, like I have nowhere to go. How drastically did that change from like what the initial thought process was behind that song?
So I'll talk about Murphy's song all day because of the crop of this EP. It's my favorite, my personal favorite. Everyone in the band, it was everyone had a different opinion, but Murphy's song was my favorite. I mean, the song itself, the structure of the song, came from our guitarist Brian, and it was even a piece that he had been working on with his previous band. and he joined Dusty in 2020. So this Murphy's song and Some Evolution has really kind of existed since before probably 2018, 19. But like it
Wow.
started with Brian. So he came in, and we had it with our old drummer, like in our bassist, who's kind of out the door at this point too. Like we had an older version of Murphy's we played live. It wasn't recorded yet, and then we got our current and our new and current drummer, and then in the studio we did like kind of rework it to be more. It was more of an indie feel, like the demo, I should say, that like Brian had, and then we did demo it once ourselves. Like, so there's like somewhere there's files, and there's probably 5 or 6 versions of this song until we finally recorded what we did and released it. But so yeah, it's had a lot of different outfits on. But then we went to the studio, kind of finalized it, and then while Brian had the chorus, like he had the run away, run away, run away, like that was all him. But like the verses were mine, and then I put it in with like the story. Like in 2020, I was kind of couch surfing my living situation, like right after the pandemic. It was just kind of like a rough spot. So I stayed with my dad for a while, my sister, and then yeah, I did a little bit of the couch routine, and then I have a good support system. I have good friends, so
Yeah.
I was never without, and I didn't
Right.
want to write the song to kind of like milk that, or people to think that I was like homeless, because that's obviously a real issue, and I'm not gonna. But yeah, I was doing the thing, and the one line of restaurants closing at 9 was, this was 2020, so everything, you couldn't even go inside. You would do the drive by, business, and then everything was closed like very early. So like the nights where I'm trying to like be out as long as possible, and then go to wherever I'm staying like as late at night as possible, so I'm just not there that long. Like I'm like, God damn it, dude, all these places are closed. Like I can't do. Like it was just like the worst thing at like the worst time. Like it was just, and that's what the song reflected, and it went with his chorus. And I'm really stoked on how it came out, you know.
Yeah. No, it's a solid song to as your second single. Um, I mean, I've listened to the EP probably like 6 times today, just leading up to right now, and it's still. I mean, there's a couple songs we're going to talk about that are probably my number one contenders for various reasons, but
Cool.
it's still a sick song, and like the whole meaning behind it, like I get what you're saying. Like, yes, you were without at home, but you weren't. You have a good enough support system where some people obviously don't have that, where you don't want to claim and be like, I was homeless, because
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
that's a whole nother meaning behind that. But I totally feel like the whole trying to stay out everywhere as late as possible without being like a nuisance to these people that you're staying with, and
Yeah.
just the line of like, fuck, everyone's closing at 9, whether that's like pandemic or not. Like where I grew up in Iowa, like everything in that area like shuts down at like fucking 7 to 8 o'clock, and it's like it just took me, that one line just took me back to like growing up of just like, what do we do for the, like, what do we, like, there's nothing to do, like everything's just closed, we just got to go sit in someone's basement and just like fuck around, I guess, like
Just
there's no
exist.
fun. Yeah, exactly.
No, and I like that kind of, like, whenever I do, podcasts like this and they're talking to people, I like that. Like, so that one line, while I wrote it in this way, it meant something completely different to you and your perception of it. And that's kind of one of the, that's where I get one of my like kind of biggest jollies from. I like hearing that, because then I'll talk to other people about their songs and like my interpretation. And it's just so interesting to see how, a different song could be, reflected on, someone else. So it's pretty cool. That's rad.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy how just you can relate with so much in a song, even though like the song doesn't relate to that like is not based around that same situation at all.
Nothing
It's
to do with it.
crazy. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with it. But to you, it could mean the world in whatever way it does.
Yeah.
Man, that's the beauty of it, man. That's music. Fucking
Yeah.
love it.
And then like I said, this upcoming Friday on, I think this Friday is like June 2nd. Yeah, we're already to June, which is crazy. But you're releasing the third single off this EP. What
Right.
song is that you're releasing?
So this isn't coming out till like later, so I can drop. We can talk everything.
Yeah.
So the next song is called SG Small Goals, Tiny Victories.
Okay.
We always just say SGTV at practice, so I just know it is SGTV at this point. But it's called Small Goals, Tiny Victories, and it's kind of like the goodbye to our previous like sound. It's like the one still it's a pop punk song on this,
Hmm.
but I feel like it kind of gives it like a kind of like a goodbye, kind of like like I'm not gonna forget where we came from, but I don't really want to continue just to do the kind of uh pop punk stuff. I love pop punk. I mean, I have an MXPX, the Atari's like thing back here. Like I mean, it's my bread and butter, but I do want to try and push the envelope a little bit and get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and we're all going to do that together. So this one was kind of like the one for the ones that have been there since day one, kind of thing. Like, but then Brian did this really kind of like eccentric intro to it that I think is kind of neat. So it does make it a little different. And then it has a, kind of like this little spicy emo-ish outro. So I don't think it's as like it's not cliche pop punk, but it, kind of still is.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to make it more than it is, but it's a fun song. I don't think this song is the biggest song on the record or anything like that, but it's a fun song and it still means a lot to us. And yeah, that's the one that's coming out this Friday.
Yeah. No, I totally understand also like everyone gets to the point where they're kind of just like, okay, that chapter of this project is kind of done. Like you're
Right.
like basically what you're saying is like the pop punk era of Cheer Up Dusty is kind of that book's getting closed as you're trying to adventure and like expand and like try new things and like we kind of mentioned earlier, you have this more mature kind of sounding sound, um, just where it's going to take you now. And I feel like everyone kind of has that point. Like I know the my friends that I used to run with all the time, they were super fast, D beat pop punk, and then by the end of their run, they got into like what would now be classified as like almost like fifth wave, like twinkly emo. And I mean, it happens to everyone where you just kind of grow and evolve as a musician and artist, where you're just like, I still love that. Like you're saying, you have like we can all see MXPX up on your wall. Like you still love that. You still get why it's popular and everything, but that's just not who you want to be in this point. You wanna you wanna take it somewhere else.
Well, I mean, I've never been in a project that one like lasted this long, and like we've gotten to do like multiple EPs. Like anything I've ever done before was kind of like a 1-2 EP, and then something happens, and then you pack it in, you quit, you change the name, or whatever happens. Um, and yeah, like I love the style of music. I still play it, but I mean, at this point, yeah, we just kind of want to do something different. But then now, like anytime I was younger and I was always just like, oh, they changed and like they suck now or, this and that, I kind of like want to apologize because it's like, I mean, you don't want to, I mean, it's like a painter. You don't want to like paint the same thing over and over every day. So, um, yeah, that's just what we're doing. And it's funny because like we all like different shit. Like, our drummer, he likes some harder stuff, like kind of, like hardcore and emo and stuff. And then our one guitarist, he likes he's from Costa Rica, our guitarist Brian, so he does like a lot of like Spanish music and Bad Bunny and stuff. So and it's stuff I never really got into. So it's like we have all these different kind of elements, and it's like let's just kind of see what we can make when everyone is just organically them,
Mm-hmm.
and then shit, man, I don't know. Like maybe we'll make our own subgenre. I don't like, but let's just we're just life's short, so we're gonna try some things. But yeah, this I think this was a good at least kind of transition into our a little bit of a change up. So
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, it's been great, and I'm stoked to see where like the where this like this is like basically the jumping off point, but like to see where it takes Cheer Up Dusty, and what like the next EP or next full length could be. Now that you guys are kind of like finding more of what you feel like is like your groove in the lane that you kind of want to go down.
no, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope it goes well.
There are a few other songs on this EP. The one that is currently my favorite, and I don't know if it's just because of how the tracks were listed in like the link because they were all like in alphabetical order. So this one was the first one I listened to every
Yeah.
time back around. But it's Drive, and it because it has a sick little sound clip, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it just like the intro to it, and then just going full bore. Like I was like, fuck yes.
So I should have even told, and I follow it. So that song, it's labeled Drive, and that was like the working or just like the title, like
Mm-hmm.
to say like the saving title. But that song is actually called Black Box Theater.
Okay.
But we all call it Drive because for months and months it's what we called it. But we wanted to give it more of an identity than just like a quick simple word like that. So yeah, that's called Black Box Theater, and that was unanimously like, oh, this is like the strongest track. So that's the last single we're dropping, and we do have another music video for that song too.
Dude, hell yeah, yeah. That one's
Yeah,
probably like I said, my number one contenders right now off this EP.
yeah. We were when we had that one out, we were like, yo, this one needs a video. This one needs to be pushed. This like we need to really like that. That's why that's the last like single because we wanted to maybe do a little bit of a build up with these three, at
Mm-hmm.
least get have a little bit of like attention, kind of
Oh yeah.
ish, and then like and then here's like the strong one. Here's the quality video for it, and then just gonna kind of shoot for the stars with it. See what kind of we can get back from it. Because we are trying to build a fan base. We're trying to build a following. We don't shy away from what we're trying to do. So yeah, we're hoping that does well for us. So I'm glad to hear that you liked it and that was your favorite because that seems to be the that seems to be the one.
So the only two tracks that we haven't talked about on this, and these could just be the working titles, so let me know if they're different as well. Is Personally and then Seriously. Are those still
Those
the working titles?
those are the titles. I mean, that's
Okay.
why. So like so the EP is called "Don't Take It Personally, Take It Seriously." And so that's kind of what it's the first track is we personally, and then it'll be the four main singles, and then seriously, and then that's the EP.
Okay. And then I know you kind of mentioned before we fully started the show. Um, what's like the meaning behind this title of the CP?
um so I want to say it's some deep thing, but so it's funny. I was uh back in August of last year, we had um we had this weekend of some really rad shows. And one was like Atlantic City with Eternal Boy and Goalkeeper, and that was gonna be real rad. And then um the other one was down in it was a Jersey show at a really nice place called Casey Ray's. Like it was gonna be a very good weekend, but then I ended up getting COVID.
Oh,
And it was the worst. Like these two awesome shows, like the van was packed up and everything. And then like, Thursday night, I took a COVID test because I just wasn't feeling well and it boom. And I was like, son of a bitch. Um, so I ended up spending the next, you know, 5 days or so, like in bed. And I ended up watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay for whatever reason. It was I think it was Hell's Kitchen, that show, and
yeah.
he's like, yelling at a chef, but he liked the chef, like he was like, yelling at him or her, I can't remember. And then he just says that he's like, don't take it personally, take it seriously. And then I was just like, dude, that's the EP name. And I immediately I remember I immediately texted Brian, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. And then it just kind of was, um, and that was it. That's the story.
I mean, that's pretty great. Shout out Gordon Ramsay for that one.
Yeah, shout out Gordon Ramsay for dropping me that, and yeah, shout out to Turtle Boy and Goalkeeper for the awesome show I didn't get to play.
Oh man, that's such a bummer. Hopefully, it wasn't like. Hopefully, when you had COVID, it was nice and mild and not like you weren't like just
Uh,
dying
hey
or
man,
anything.
I just turned 32, so I was 31. And I had medicine. I had some, like not everyone's that lucky, so I was able to get through it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I appreciate that. I'm appreciative of that. So
yeah. I got it. Nah, I got it last year. It really sucked. I had gone to me and my friends did a trip down to Jamaica and was doing
Nice.
fine. And literally on like the plane ride back, I just kept feeling more and more like shit. And I got home. We all went and got tested like the next day because we our flight got in at like 10 or something. Um, and yep, I had it. So I had to basically just sit in my room. Like I felt fine after I got home, and I was just basically just congested and just bored, and then had to get locked in my room for a week, which really sucked.
Yeah, I mean that was it, man. And
Yeah.
like and it was weird. I felt like, oh dude, I feel kind of cruddy. But I didn't feel like, oh, I have like COVID. I didn't think
Right.
I took it as like I like assuming it was going to be negative. Like, all right, let me just let me, for everyone's sake, because we're living in this time, let me just. And then when I gave up positive, I was like, dude, stop. And I actually I took again, and luckily I had access to tests and everything, but I took another test, and once the second one came back, then I told my employer, and then they gave me a third one, like different brand. So I ended up taking a three test just to verify 100%. Like, dude, you got COVID. So
Damn.
yeah, it was right. It was just like the worst. Like, I think right after that we didn't have a show for like a month. So like if it just could have happened 3 days later, 4 days later, it would have been fine. But
Right.
that's the way that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, because like even with mine too, like since we were flying back, it was more like my ear wouldn't pop, and I was like, okay, like it's just that, and like the fact that we're going from like nice like 80 to 90-degree weather back to Minnesota in February, or no, that was January at the time, so it's like I wore shorts the entire way back, and I was like, oh, it's
Oh
definitely just temperature change, and like my ear won't
yeah,
pop and shit like that, and nope, it wasn't that, and I was like, fuck.
yeah.
But
I
thankfully,
would
I didn't get stuck
probably
in Jamaica.
my thought process would have probably been the same. Like the
Yeah,
temperature change. Like I would have just kind of like in my head, like just made up reasons to explain this, that, and the other thing. But then once you take that test, and that's it, baby.
right. Thankfully, I didn't get stuck in Jamaica because we did have to test at the resort before we were allowed to like leave the country.
Oh wow.
And I tested negative on like a Sunday, and then we flew back Monday, and then tested Tuesday, and I was positive on Tuesday. So, but at least I didn't have to spend that extra money. I was able to quarantine at home.
Yeah, at least you were able to get home. Yeah, so
Yeah,
lucky for that, man. Yeah, that would have
right.
been hell being out of the country during all that. Oh God,
Yeah.
shit.
Um, kind of hopping back into this EP, like I mentioned,
Yeah,
some sound clips. I've talked about this on a few different episodes, but I am a big fan of sound clips in songs because I mean it just takes me back to like the first times that I heard like early Free Throw where they have all the sound clips in there. It adds something more to all these DIY musicians adding them in there, like because you don't hear big name people doing it because they're the ones that are going to get sued, so they're kind of screwed. But in uh I'm sorry, what's the new title for Drive?
Drive is called Black Box Theater.
Black Box Theater. That one starts out with an iconic uh a line from an iconic movie and role. I mean, you guys are Philly dudes. It's a line from Rocky. Basically Adrian asking, "Can you drive?" Of course. Are you kidding? I'm one of the greats. I can drive you. What was the thought process behind bringing in that specific line from that iconic of a movie?
Well, like you, I like sound bites and stuff. Sometimes they're a little corny, a little quirky, but I love it. I'm not afraid to say it. So with that one, obviously, the song isn't called Drive, but it really, that's kind of it's a very simple, plot or, of the song. It's just, those drives that you go like at night when things just aren't, kind of going right. I mean, nowadays I feel like it kind of died out, but people used to just like go for a drive to clear your head.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with phones and stuff now, like, people will just go and watch something decompress. But I used to do that a lot, especially when I first like got my license and stuff. I need to go for a drive. I'm just gonna, I'm not going anywhere, but you drive 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive, or you get on a highway and just kind of go down and whatnot. And that's kind of where it was. And we do like to, because we're very proud of where we're from. So I do like people to know like we are a Philly band, and I'm here for my city, kind of, So putting in the Rocky, that clip where just you go for a drive. It's just there was no better clip that would have been put there than that. Like
Yeah.
it just there wasn't. So yeah, I like that. I like that one. Plus, I like where it's at. It's at the beginning. It's that attention grabber.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then what's funny is we had the soundbite at first, and it was going to be dun, 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 but we were like, no, that's too much. So that's why it's just that one hit, and then it goes in, and yeah, it just goes right. Like it's a real ripper, that song, and
Oh yeah.
it's not the easiest to sing, as we're practicing it, but yeah, I'll tell you, man, that's one we're really stoked on, and we can't wait to show that one to everyone. So, um, yeah, that's gonna be fun one, man.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm stoked to see the video for that one. And then you also have a sound clip in Seriously, which is like a voicemail of someone asking if like you can come over after school and hang out.
Yeah.
Like what was the thought process behind that one? Like what's the backstory for that?
So that sound clip is an old voicemail from my son.
Oh, nice.
So that sound clip, my son just turned 12 recently, but that sound clips, he's like, I think 5. I think he's still in preschool, or 4 or 5. And it was Father's Day, and he called me when I was at work and was, I got something for you. You want to come over after school? He wanted to. Me and his mom had, already been split up at that point, so he was just calling me to come over, and I missed the call. I called him back like 5 minutes later, saw him that day. I remember it perfectly, and I still have the gift and everything that he gave me there, and I gotta stop. I'm gonna like tear up even like talking about it. So it's just like it's this voicemail that's just been in my phone for years. Like, I always delete, you delete all your voicemails, all the crap, but it's just one. It's not deleted. It's still there, and I wanted to use it. And then our producer put over the nice just melody behind it. Very simple. Like it wasn't anything. It was just to close it out, and it just kind of ends the EP with like, kind of, what is serious, what's the most important kind of thing. That's kind of the simple message behind it, and yeah, it was something I wanted to do from the get go. Was that with that voicemail, like it was all done purposely. I wanted to do that, and the fellows were cool with it, and yeah, that's where that came from.
That
Ultimately,
dude, that's fucking awesome.
yeah,
That you held on to the voicemail and it is your son, and getting to put it in there and have it like be cemented. Yeah, it's been in your phone all these years, but now it's cemented. It's going to be out there. It's always going to be there, and it's a nice way to like you said, tie off this EP. But it's this whole deeper meaning, like seeing you kind of get like teary eyed about it. Like that's fucking amazing. Like that melts my heart, dude.
yeah, man. I mean, it's just I reference my son in a lot of songs. I mean, ultimately, he's the most important thing to me. But it's my son, he's also given me like a lot of support with this, because there are times where it's my weekend with him, but we have a show, or even this weekend I had to go to Boston and play a show in Philly, and he's just real supportive. So texting and talk, email, what am I saying, like FaceTime, and that's like one of the most important things that we have and stuff. And I like to reference him, because even though it's like, hey, like I'm not right next to you, I'm trying to do this music thing, he's still important. And yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's hard not to reference him and stuff. And then so I wanted to kind of give him this little track to show you're still the most important thing. So that's why.
Hell yeah, dude. That's amazing. I think that's like one of the most heartfelt things I've ever heard on doing this podcast.
Yeah, I'm like on a beer podcast, and I'm getting but hey, man, I mean that's it's it's our art, and like I try to be as like authentic as possible. I try not to do any of this fake shit that we get a lot of these days. So I mean, yeah, and like I because I could be in bands with guys that like would have been like, oh, I don't really like that's well, that's just you, or that's maybe think it's corny. Where I'm in a band with like some of my best friends, so they were all very with the track and um, yeah, yeah. So and I think while it won't be like a big hit of a, I think maybe it could reach a chord with maybe some parents or some punk rock parents or some those dads that only get to see their kids on the weekends or things like that. So I think there's still a connection that can be made with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, let me see if I got anything else here. Like I know we talked. I feel like a lot about this EP, and I'm looking at my notes. There is one more thing, one more question I have for you here for this EP. But in Legacy, it starts off with a great line. It says, "Gonna write a story and watch it like Maury," which you know recently there was an iconic you know daily TV show host that just passed away, and he kind of did the same as Maury. So this is my question to you: is think about like we got still Steve Wilkos, Maury, we got Jerry Springer. What, in your opinion, would be is or was the best daytime talk show drama host in the what was that the 90s and early 2000s?
So we look like we grew up in the same time where whenever you were home, a kid homesick, you were taken care of by Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, and
Yeah.
and all them.
Yeah,
Um,
you started out at like 10 a.m. and you watched The Price is Right with Bob Barker, and then you went
yeah,
into all this just who's the father, who's not the father, who's sleeping with
yeah,
who,
all that.
all afternoon.
Um, I would probably say Maury was my favorite at the end of the day, because I felt like Jerry Springer was just a little too crazy to the point where it just wasn't like believable. Whereas like Maury, I was like, I can't tell if this is real or not. Like I can't tell if these are real like situations or not. Whereas like Jerry Springer, like I was like, this is just no, like there's
Right.
no. But so I would probably say my favorite like growing up, man, when I was sick was Maury.
Okay.
And I'm glad I got to reference. And then I mean, we wrote that song and that was recorded last year, and he ended up retiring this year, like months later. So I was like, oh, I'm really happy. I just kind of referenced him real quick in a song right before he just retired and all that. So yeah, I like that little we're trying to mature and we're trying to, but like I am not a mature guy where I still like to drop these little quips or little things in the songs. And yeah, I'm glad you liked it. So I mean
Yeah, that line. Yeah,
that's good for me.
that whole line was just fucking like golden. Like I was just walking through the house and I was like, I'm gonna write a story and have it on Maori, and I was like, that hits so well. Like it just comes across so well.
Because you want everyone to see it. That's
Yeah.
like you want everyone to, you want to be the in the limelight. So you want to write a story. And I mean, what's cooler daytime TV than Maury Povich? So,
Right. Um, so I mean that pretty much takes up all my main questions that I had for this EP. So before we transition, is there anything I missed between this EP or Cheer Up Dusty that you want the people to know about?
I mean, nah, man. I want people to know our name, and then I want people to just give us a chance. And then after that chance is given, if we are up your alley, I'd like people to just kind of stick with us and let be with us as we grow a little. That's what every band wants, whether they're saying that or not. You
Right.
know what I mean. And that's all I could ask for. It's just that chance. I mean, I get music subjective, so I fully know that not everyone's gonna like us or be into us, and that's totally okay, dude. There's a lot of bands that even I give a lot of support to that I don't necessarily. It's not my, but again, art is subjective, and I just appreciate anyone in the hustle, or if I see anyone working their ass off, and so now just we do have some more songs coming out. We do have a lot of shows out this summer. going even into the fall. We're hitting New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Northeast America mostly, but definitely if you live in that area, yeah, come out, because even if you come out to our shows and you don't vibe with us, we always play with three, four, five other acts that are always just full of talented people. So even if we're not the ones that get on your list that night, someone else might. So that's all I can ask for is just support, because it's very, you can shout it from the rooftops, but it's not always, it doesn't always come. So
Right.
that's it, man. So
Hell yeah. Well, everyone listening, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for those summer and leading into fall dates, and hit up all those shows. I'm in the Midwest. I'm not in the East Coast, so you gotta go. You gotta go experience it for me. Let me know how it was. Tell me everything about it.
yes, yeah, please.
Um, so now we're gonna kind of transition towards the later half of these episodes. But before we get there, this is obviously Beers with Fans. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I will most likely do that for you. But Justin, I know you have a couple brews in front of you. What are you drinking on this fine Monday night?
So I am a little bit of a basic guy right now. I have a Miller High Life, very simple right now.
Hell yeah.
Um, I've had, like I think I did mention, they're a little old. They've been in here for a couple weeks, but my favorite like regular cheap beer is like a regular Coors Banquet. I love, or in a bottle. That's like that's what I would want. But yeah, right now it's just the High Life, man, the champagne of beers.
Hell yeah. I used to have like I think there was like a solid few years where I was just like a banquet guy. Whether I would either do like 16 ounces or I would get like the grenade can bottles. Like I still every once in a while will grab a 6 pack because it still hits so well.
It it hits, man, and it's just, I don't know, something, it goes down real, and the water is real, from the Rockies, real
Yeah,
clean. I don't know, it's good for me, man.
yeah. On this episode, everyone's used to hearing this, but I, start out with a good old PBR. Then
Can't go wrong.
yeah, and then it is a holiday, so it's like 80 something degrees out. So I got a nice little Truly pineapple,
I
and
love
I
me a
think
seltzy. Love a
yeah,
seltzy.
and I think the one that I'm going to use to end the episode, I finally got my hands on these the other day, and I'm super stoked to finally try that. This will be my first time trying it during the recording. Is the Sunny D vodka seltzer?
Oh man, I have seen those around. You'll have to
Yeah,
tell me how that one is, because that one, I feel like that one is like a hit or miss. There's no, it's okay. It's either going to be really really good or just piss. Like I feel like
right.
there's no in between on that one.
Yeah. Well, here's my live pre-recorded. I don't know how that works, but figure this out real quick.
A nice snap. It was a nice crack.
That's not bad. That's kind of
Yeah, it's
dangerous.
the good root. Do you taste the Sunny D, or does it just taste like maybe like a bottled screw or a canned screwdriver?
You can kind of taste a little bit of Sunny D, but it's not so much like a screwdriver because it is still a seltzer. So, but it's not like over. You know how like Sunny D kind of has that overpowering like tang to it every once in a while. You don't get that overpoweringness, but it goes down very smooth.
All right, all right. Let me ask you a 1 out of 10.
I'd give it like a solid 8.
A solid 8. A solid
Yeah.
8 on a nice holiday. Not bad, bro. Not bad.
Right. Right.
Respect.
Yeah. Uh, well, so there's a little drink segment. Yeah, I was stoked that I was just walking through like a liquor store yesterday or Saturday, and they just had it on the shelf, and I just as I'm walking back to the cooler to get what I actually walked in there for, I just like instinctively just grabbed it off the shelf and just kept walking.
See, I'm like that. I'm always like the guy where like, if I see something in the store, like I just like that's like limited edition, kind of
Mm,
like snack, or like I'm trying to cut down, but I'm like a soda guy where like I like the different soda flavors that pop up all the time, or whenever we're out on like a run at like somewhere like you know, obviously not in our own area, you know, each areas will have like their own delicacies. So I'm just looking for like that. Like I want a soda or drink that I've never seen or heard of, like type of stuff.
Right.
And just finding like those gems, shit like that. Like I remember, you remember Not Your Father's root beer? You remember when that first came out and that like popped like all over? Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
It was like one of the, like, I just remember like being one of the first like to kind of like see it in the store, and I was just like, oh shit, what's that? And like that. So like I would have done the same thing if I saw the Sunny D. I've seen that online. I haven't seen that in store. Like I haven't seen it yet. But
Hmm.
I would have been like immediately just like, that's coming home. Like, you're coming home with me. Like
Right.
like right away.
Well, like even when Mountain Dew dropped like the hard Mountain Dews, they only
Oh, those look.
released those.
Yeah, I actually I visited a friend in Virginia not too long ago. I had one of those, and I was very disappointed. It wasn't
Yeah,
that good.
yeah. But like when they originally released them, they only had them in like select states. Like they had them in like Tennessee, Iowa, and like one other state that I can't think of. But it was like very random as to like why those states. So I just happened to be going back home to Iowa to like visit family, and I walked in like a gas station. They had them, and I walked out of there with like 5 cases. Just because I had a bunch of people in like Minnesota that like wanted to try it, and I was like, all right, you're getting your own case, you're getting your own case,
You're
and
bringing.
like
Oh, dude, you must have been the hero, dude.
yeah. And I will say, while it did disappoint, the the only one that was actually good out of all of those was like the Baja Blast one. That one kind of hit.
So I visited a buddy in Virginia not too long ago, and unlike my area, you can go into Walmart and they have a whole like liquor section and beer section. And we're just picking them, and I got two tall boys of them. One was the Baja Blast, where that one was all right, and then
Hmm.
I got like the orange one. I think it was like a mango one, maybe, or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know
And
they
that
had a
one,
mango one.
was it a mango? Am I
Well, the original ones was the Baja Blast, the regular, I think a Code Red, and then a watermelon. But they
okay?
could have
So
come out with a mango one after that. I have no
so
idea.
it had to be, or maybe, or what's the live strike, or it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like an orangey type flavor. And that one I took like 2 sips and I couldn't drink it. I'm like, oh, this is
Oof.
just too gross. So, but the Baja Blast one I was able to drink, but it just, I don't know. I guess it's like a mental thing where you hype it up in your head to the point where it's like once you sip it, you're just like, yeah, I guess that's Mountain Dew with a bit of vodka in it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's just really it. Like, you think it's gonna be life changing, but it just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I tried not to think too much about the Sunny D one before getting it. I was just like, I just know I need to try it at some point, and I just need to like avoid all of these reviews and just experience it on my own.
See, I'm not a review person. I won't look at her. I don't care. Like I'm a big movie head. Like I don't look at Rotten Tomatoes. I don't care. Like I'm gonna make my own damn opinion, kind of like
Right.
thing. You know. But one thing I did get hooked on, whose opinion I care about, is what's that? Dave Portnoy, when he does his pizza reviews.
Oh
Because I'm
yeah.
like, I mean, I lived in Philly or South Jersey my whole life, where it's just like pizza's kind of a serious game out here. So you know, so those are probably the only reviews that I'm kind of like paying any attention to.
Yeah, I one day went through like a deep rabbit hole of just all his like pizza reviews, and I was like, these like as like shitty as he's like people have made him out to be in person, and like most of the barstool stuff I don't give a shit about, but like I got to the pizza reviews and I was like, this man needs to like be on like a pedestal right now just for the pizza reviews. Like this needs to be, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah, it's just like they're just so entertaining, and it's just and yeah, I've heard some rough things about it. I separate like the creator from the creation, or the art from the artist, so I like try to just enjoy things and not think about who's making it too much. But those videos are just they're fun, man. And then if I had a pizza place around here, I would love if he came and sampled it.
Right.
Like it's good for the businesses. But yeah, that's probably only reviews I care about. But nothing like a good like pizza and beer, dude.
Oof,
Fucking
yeah.
easy.
Um, all right, so now we're gonna kind of transition to the later half of this episode finally, which is always my favorite part of the episode. This is where I get to hear some fun stories from your time in music. That they could be either shows, tours, time recording, and as I normally say, they could be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between.
Oh god. Okay. So like you just want like so
the
I mean
the way I usually try and say it is think about the stories that you and your friends always reminisce about. Those ones are usually the ones that are usually the best, and I would love to hear.
well I mean so it's good. So today's Monday. We just went on not like a run. We do a lot of weekenders, and so this weekend we did Friday in Boston, Saturday in Philly. We had a Jersey show booked on Sunday, but that got canceled a couple weeks ago. And because it was a Memorial Day weekend anyway, we were like, why don't we just? It's fine. Like we just kind of we took the day off instead. So so Boston, I guess it was kind of funny because a band houses that we never met. So it was like Thursday night we go down. We pack up the van. We start shooting down there Thursday night, and then Dave from a band called Battle Mode, out in the Boston area. He was the one. He's like, "Yo, you guys crashed in my house." Okay, cool. So we go there, and he's working late. So he's working at a movie theater. Like that's what he does, but he like
Mm-hmm.
runs it, and it's like the area that they're in. It's very like old timey. Like it's not like an AMC movie theater. It's like a movie theater you'd see like you like it looked like something from like 1980. Like you just walk in, like it was just like very like old time. So like we get there and we're supposed to get there at 1, but traffic here, something there, whatever. We don't get there till like 2:30, and we get there and he's like showing us around the theater. We're like, oh, this is rad. Like, this is so cool. It really was because it just felt like it was in a different time. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was gorgeous, man, really. And and then he offers us to like watch like a free showing of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And we're kind of just like, I wanted to do it, even though it was like almost 3 in the morning. I'm like, oh, dude, that's so cool. A free, and he's offering us the snack. Like, the hospitality, these guys are great. Look up Battle Mode from Boston. They're amazing guys. Just a two-piece band. But like then we all look at each other and we're like just
Half
like
awake, just like,
we
do we
yeah,
do
like
this? Yeah.
we're like, dude, we can't. We just can't. So we end up going back and then the next day, we play the show. It gets late and then we crashed again. Like we really they really did like too much for us, this band Battle Modes, But then we left at like 6 in the morning Saturday. Like so, bro, by the time we got back to Philly for our Philly gig, dude, I mean, we're like in a fever dream. Like in the last 48 hours, we've slept 6 hours, 7 hours, but not even in total, like in three
Like, yeah.
hour intervals. Like, so by the time we get back to Philly, like we get to the venue. Well, we took a shower, we get to the venue and we're kind of like not all there, like at first. And then I spaced out where I actually did another podcast that day. So like for our sound check had to like I went to our van and did this podcast called Songs in My Head. Very, very nice people. I appreciate everyone's time, and I'm like the worst at time management because I'm like, oh dude, I'm like I gotta go sound check. I'm like half asleep. So like I felt like I kind of didn't do the like you ever go into like a social like thing and then when you get home you're like, oh, that wasn't my best work, like
Oh, yeah.
socially kind of like I'm like, oh, like I messaged him and said sorry I had to rush, sorry I was so tired, like I'll come back again if the episode is just that sucky. Like I like really just didn't give him a quality interview and I like felt real bad, but I like it wasn't even because I wasn't in a bad mood or anything, like I was just so like
It was just an off day, and people
yeah
have those.
dude.
Yeah.
Like but then like once you get on that stage you flip the switch and everything. But yeah, so I mean the fever dream that was this weekend was always we'll talk about that for a while. um but probably we've gone on a few runs, we're still getting our feet wet with it, but I'd say the funniest story is on our first run. On the third day we were playing Boston and we were going to go home and we were playing with a bunch of great bands, dude. Planet Mercury, Promise Game, goalkeeper driveways in Boston. It was rad, dude. So our like later in the night, our guitarist Brian, we had played, we did good, sold a few shirts, like it was a good night. Last band of the night was Driveways. Awesome band, dude. If you haven't heard of them, they've been killing it. But so they're going on. Brian at that point, he's a couple drinks deep. He earned it. Towards, our performance is over. We're chilling. We're gonna go start driving home in the morning. Like we were good. So he goes and then he comes to the merch table and he's like, "Yo, can I get a few shirts?" I'm like, what? Dude, like, we got these very kind of cheap, quick printed shirts out. We were just doing $5 a shirt because at that point we were so. This was our first. We just wanted to promote. We just wanted to be. We didn't really care about really making too much money. We just wanted the name. So
Yeah.
we got $5 shirts. We were doing $5. So I'm like looking for like someone behind him who's gonna like buy the shirt or not. And he's like, "Yo, just give me like 2 shirts." And I'm just like, "Okay, okay." So I give him 2 shirts, and he kind of hops to like the side of the stage, and he tosses these 2 shirts out, which is fine. But then I'm kind of thinking like, "Oh, they're probably gonna think those are Driveway shirts, not Tear Up Dusty shirts." So I'm like joking, like, "Oh, someone's gonna ravel it. Like, what's this piece of shit?" And that was hysterical, man. Like it was, I was dying at the time, but yeah, dude, it's yeah, he's a character. I love that kid, but yeah, that was like real funny. Just like tossing some free. Now they were the shirts we have now. We have some good quality shirts where they're like we sell them for $20 just so we can make. He has the numbers, a little bit of a profit. It's
Right.
all
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a bit. You have to run it as a business at the end of the day. So, not that I would want to. I would charge $4 a shirt if I could, but so these shirts are $20 a piece, and then we'll finagle, we'll sell them for 15, but we really can't sell them for anything less than that. If he came up to me now, like asking me, I'd be like, no, we can't, no, you can't do it. But that was hysterical at the time.
That's fucking great. I remember like when we were on tour once, we had stopped in like Omaha, and we played with this band that ended up becoming like really good friends with us. And they were like, "Yo, you guys want to do like shirt swap?" And like this was like my first like run, and we were going to be out for like a month. And I was like, dude, like I was just merching and TMing, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this right now. So like I turned to like my friends who like I went to high school with, and I was like, they want a merch swap, and they're like, okay, tight. So yeah, we just ended up handing over like 6 for us and 5 for them or whatever, like just straight
Yeah.
up. And like that was like I still have the shirt somewhere back in my parents' house. And like, but I also made sure, hang on to like I got copies of like all the shirts that we like the band like put out at the same time. But like it's always cool to like have those moments. Like if he was gonna go shirt swap, like we brought up goalkeeper a few times through this episode who have been
Yeah.
on the podcast. Like they're super sick, but like having those moments too, like when you're coming up and like trying to do stuff, like meeting those bands that you become friends with, and like however you become friends, like it just keeps growing, and like you're always hitting each other up. I mean, the nice thing with the East Coast is, and especially like that Philly, New Jersey pocket, is you guys are so close to everyone. Where like
Oh
the
yeah.
Midwest is like we would make friends, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're still like 8 hours apart from each other. Like
Yeah.
it sucked to do anything.
No, I mean, I'm very thankful. Like, I am in the part of the country where I am, because yeah, I like now that we are yeah, kind of getting out there a little bit, and it is very cool to be making friends with people from, Boston. One of our good friends, Promise Game, they're from New Hampshire. So then by having these, this friend, building this kind of like community, and and it's all positive, dude. Like it's all everyone just wants to kind of level up, and and do it together. And but then because of that, I've been able to even get up as far as Portland, Maine, and work our way back down. We did a run like that, and then we have some friends out in like the Baltimore, Maryland area now, and it's really cool, man. And I didn't at some point in my life I didn't think I was ever going to get to do any of this or even sniff any or do anything close to this. So being able to do that is really cool. But yeah, in your area, I can see it's just like, your closest friend band that's out of your area. we have a couple that are maybe 2 or 3 hours out of the way. You're going 8, 9, just
Yeah,
just for that close one. So that's
yeah,
rough.
because like yeah, it was always rough. Like especially like in Iowa, whenever like I would book a show and like would have like a tour man come through and I'd throw on like yeah they're Iowa locals and I would they're all classified as locals but at the same time they're still driving like 2.5 3 hours just to get to the gig where I drove like 15 minutes to that gig or whatever like they're locals in Iowa but they're still like not local if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense, dude. Like it makes. I mean, you could say Philly local, and then that goes to like Delco, and then all of a sudden you're talking about like Lancaster. Like it's it's all the same. But
Right.
hey, man, I love the 3 hour away shows, and I love the 15-minute away shows. I'll tell you, there's a record store near me, literally 10 minutes away. We play it once in a while, and I go to shows there all the time. So like anyone who I am friends with supporting or some just go. There'll be one band that I somewhat know, so I'll go and kind of catch a show. But I love that because again, it's 10 minutes away. Even if I'm on call at work, I can get back real quick. So it's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, Justin, before we fully end, I think there's one last question I should ask. It's you've had a whirlwind weekend. You played a couple shows. You have this new single coming out. The EP is going to be out by the time this episode comes out. Um, what would you say, as of right now, has been your favorite moment of Cheer Up Dusty?
Um, so on the one run that we did, um, and I keep going back to Boston. I have some good times. So it was our last song on that run, and we were playing "Everybody Hates Me," and like members of our friend like Promise Game and Goalkeeper, and a couple of these guys that came out to like a few of the other shows too. Well, basically we had like maybe 15 friends of ours just come up on stage and belt out this song with us at like the last thing, and I remember kind of like stopping for while it was all happening, and I remember kind of just like I don't know, like I guess in my own mind, it was like one of the, like everything kind of went slow motion for a minute, and I just kind of like looked, and I was just like, and it like kind of like just dawned on me, like I am in a different state. I'm with these people that like a lot of these people I just met within maybe the last year just through the music and playing and all that. There is a crowd here. I'm not playing, and I played my share of basements for 10 people and things like and like there's a and I'm like and I just kind of like took that in at that moment because so like I started Dusty after like 8 years of not doing anything musical. Like I had my son and I was just working and I just didn't do it. I didn't go to shows. I was just out of it and I wasn't really myself anymore. So I had to get back into it, like and so like at that moment, like I just like I started a band and like at first no one really wanted to play with me. I'll be honest, I couldn't find members and like it was really hard, man. And then I just kind of like, yeah, I do remember that, like just taking this like second where I like one of those, I was just like, yeah, yeah, this is, like it was like one, like if we didn't play another show and that was like, if that was it, like at that point, like I could have been, it could have been happy with that. And that, yeah, that was like that moment, man. That one, like, and again, it was only like a 5 seconds that I got to myself to like kind of just look and yeah, that would probably be my memory of what we've done so far is that one.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I hope there's many more memories that you get to have with the continuation of Cheer Up Dusty. Like I said, this EP is sick, and I hope everyone, by the time this episode comes out, since I know this EP comes out a few weeks beforehand, I hope everyone has already got it to like a million billion streams because I mean, you guys are killing it, and like it fucking shows. And I really am stoked to see what this next iteration and journey that Cheer Up Dusty is going to be on.
And I mean you and podcasts like yours and because I could talk. I mean, I like talking to people. I do like I like people. I like talking. So you guys, the ones that are, just give me and the guys your time. That's how we get there, and that's how it all kind of happens. So I really appreciate your time and having me on your podcast, and helping us just just get our name more out there than it was before hopping on. So thank you so much, man.
Dude, of course. Thank you for reaching out. Like you said it in our messages, we're gonna be best friends, and I feel like this that we already have a connection. Like anytime you're in
Yeah,
Minneapolis, you let me know. I'll get you a place to stay. You can stay here. We'll get some either high lifes or we'll get anything that you want to drink, and we'll make sure we have a good fucking time.
that sounds great, man. Like I said, like I told you too, if you ever make your way out here, dude, I got a couch, I got a shower for you. I know my way around here, and you can come with me, and we'll go have fun, man. Let's do it. I mean, that's what it's all like this.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is, and I live for it now. Can't get
oh
enough
yeah,
of it. So you already know,
dude.
man. I got you.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like, yeah, that's my favorite thing um, about starting this podcast and getting like this is my step or like foot back into like the music scene after I took a kind of like you did. Like I took a step back from everything and I started doing this and just all the connections I made. Like I truly love everyone that's been on the podcast and like everything that they're doing. Like, and I know that becomes a reoccurring theme for a lot of people that might listen to a lot of the episodes where I just hype everyone up. But anyone that takes the time to one want to be on this podcast or two is ends up being on this podcast and spending X amount of time with me, it means a lot. And it just shows a lot of to me it shows a lot of the person regardless of the music. Like I don't care about numbers and all that shit. Like I want to know who people are at the end of the day. And I feel like just sitting here having this chat, like you've shown me enough where I'm a cheer up Dusty stand for the rest of my life now.
Thank you. Yeah, man. The numbers thing really, it does get to you. I think I told you kind of earlier. I signed out of all our social media, and some of the other guys took over because I was getting into that mindset, and it was getting unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then I started to and I'm honest, I wasn't really liking myself, and I was getting out of like the realm of what this is all about. But then again, like a conversation like this, it really helps, man. It really does. So thank you, man.
Well, thank you. If for everyone that's looking for Cheer Up Dusty merch, music, or just Cheer Up Dusty in general, where can they find it?
So we're actually working on a brand new online store. I think that will be up soon. I mean, it'll definitely be up before this podcast even goes up. So
Okay.
by now we'll have a brand new online store. I mean, every show, we have a haul. We're low on shirts now. We're gonna re up. But we do have cheerupdusty.com. That is ours. So you could definitely go there. All our socials are at Cheer Up Dusty. Very, no PANJ, like it's Cheer Up Dusty. And we are everywhere we have to be. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are on TikTok. We try to give, effort to all of that, some more than others, but it's a numbers game these days. So yeah, any ad on any of them, everyone internets differently. So any way you internet, please do add us and follow us. But the most important thing is the music. At least to me, it is. So, we are on Spotify, Apple Music. We are on all the major streaming sites. So, yeah, if you look up Cheer Up Dusty, I mean, we're the only one. So you'll find us, and I'm so happy if you're finding us now or anything. So yeah, just look up Cheer Up Dusty, and wherever you're trying to go, we'll be there.
Oh yeah. For everyone listening, whether you found this episode on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you watched it on YouTube and got to see Justin's lovely face like I did all night, make sure you check the description down below. I'll have everything hyperlinked to take you right over the Cheer Up Dusty pages. Hit follow on all of those and stay up to date with everything that Cheer Up Dusty has going on. Be ready for future shows, future music. Future merch. The new merch store will be down there as well, and just be ready for this whole evolution that Cheer Up Dusty's got going on.
come with us, man. Or if you're not gonna, again, that's at the end of the day, that's cool too. But yeah, come with us if you like it.
Yeah.
That's all I could ask.
Well, Justin, like I said, it's been a great Monday night. I know it's a holiday weekend. I didn't go out and celebrate. This is all I had going on, and
it's
this
been
made
great
up for
spending
it.
Memorial Day with you, brother.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. We'll make this a recurring theme. Maybe next Memorial Day we'll get you back on. We'll just keep doing Memorial Days together.
That would be funny. Let's do that. That would be funny. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how this year goes, dude. Yeah, let's do that.
Right. Well, like I said, everyone go follow Cheer Up Dusty, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.